Gift in the hands of Andrew Hung against Zach Hanner playing blue-white control.
Honestly, I'm so happy we're getting to watch the mono red gift deck. Godfarrow's Gift kind of fell off the map last week. Like, I didn't play against it a single time with our team. It didn't show up on Magic Online very much at all, except in this mono red deck.
This deck is interesting because what it's trying to do, I guess, from what I've been told, just trying to play like a normal game of Magic, and then it happens to have Godfarrow's Gift in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite as aggressive as something like a normal mono red deck, but it has this explosive capability with Gates of the Afterlife to put Godfarrow's Gift onto the battlefield for very cheaply. But its backup plan of just play a bunch of cheap red creatures and attack you is fine.
It seems like it's totally fine.
Like, if he just plays Gate to the Afterlife in a minute, even if Zach has access to something like Settle the Wreckage, you can try to play around that. But you can fill your graveyard up pretty easily by just popping your Fanatical Firebrand, targeting itself. Fumigate's a joke, like, so bad.
It's pretty bad. Here come the beatdowns. Trigger from the Bomat Courier. 2 cards underneath the artifact.
Bomat Courier is the reason why I think Blue Eye Control is a fine deck, because Bomat Courier is nuts.
Well, you say fine as in it's fine but not great, because Bomat Courier is hard for it to beat?
Yeah, I mean, you have Sealaways to, potentially take care of it early, but A, you're still trading 2 mana for a 1 mana spell, and B, if you don't draw the Sealaway, you just die, and C, if you do draw Sealaway, you still have to deal with the, 5 other creatures they play in the first 5 turns.
There you do see the Goblin Pirate. Here come the beatdowns once again. 3 cards underneath Bomat Courier now.
Yeah, and now Andrew is incentivized to just keep casting spells, and as long as he leaves open a red, he'll be able to potentially draw a bunch of cards off of Bomat Courier. Like, he doesn't have to be afraid of a Wrath effect next turn other than Settle the Wreckage during his attack step, but he can play out some cards from his hand.
How's Hazoret sound?
Hazoret sounds great. Didn't get Essence Scatter, didn't get censored.
Cycle a couple copies of Hieroglyphic Illumination. Canner will draw. This is bad news for blue-white control. There's the 4th land.
Yeah, well, here's the dance. This is the Settle the Wreckage turn.
Okay.
They don't have Hieroglyphic Illumination because they cycled 2 of them. Even if they do, it's not that big of a deal. Now you just have to figure out what your best attack is into a Settle the Wreckage. You can also threaten them with something like a Gate to the Afterlife right now, and if they counter it, you just smash them.
That's true. That's land number 5. I mean, the best attack here might honestly just be Bomat Courier.
Nah, I like attacking with a little more. It looks like he has a gate. I think he should lead with it. If it's if it's Godfarrow's Gift, then whatever. But if he leads with gate and it gets countered, he just gets to smash in for 8 damage, and then basically dead to. Oh, it was a Godfarrow's Gift.
So he's gonna discard that to.
Yes, that puts him down to 1 card. Now he can just attack with Hazoret, and that actually forces the hand. Or not attack with Hazoret and attack with everything else is also fine.
Okay.
I actually am against discarding the Godfarrow's Gift right there as opposed to the Mountain, simply because once you get the lands, you could potentially cast the Godfarrow's Gift off of the Settle the Wreckage lands.
Okay.
But he's popping the Bomat Courier, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Assuming Bomat Courier was not there, then I would say,
Also, to be fair,
he's supposed to discard that Mountain. Well, we should get that fixed in a
yeah,
second.
he's supposed to discard a card there, yeah?
Ooh, with the way drawing extra cards works now, I don't know if that's technically drawing extra cards, but that infraction, it's supposed to be the Mountain. We know it's the Mountain, but
they don't know it's
they don't know it's the Mountain.
Yep.
So he might get, kind of thought seized. Yeah, that's usually the fix in the snare when you have a hidden card information error.
So we are going to find out what the ruling will be here in just a moment. That is definitely a mistake on his end. Now, one thing to note also, when Settle the Wreckage does resolve, you do get lands out of your deck.
Yeah.
So there will be more lands here for Andrew from the 2 Fanatical Firebrands because of Settle the Wreckage. So that means that Hazoret will have enough fuel to throw potentially just 3 cards at Zach Hanner.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's still at 8 life, so it's not quite lethal. Zach could also just untap and play some way to deal with Hazoret. But at the same time, he's getting these fresh cards off of Bomat Courier. And, if they're good, Zach might be in trouble. He still has to deal with the Hazoret, and now he also has to deal with the 3 cards in hand.
Well, while this ruling gets figured out, we're going to jump over to our modern match really quick. A little live look in if we can. No sense in staring at those players. Someone is, oh boy. Oops.
Well.
Should I pick a different one?
No, we should. I mean, this game is over. We can, it's fine.
Right.
This is better than watching a judge call.
Right. I'm going to watch Paul do his thing with Storm against Faustino. And this is this is very bad for Mono Green Tron.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you get to untap with a single mana reduction creature like Baral Chief of Compliance or Goblin Electromancer, the game's usually over.
How about 3 of them?
But 2 or 3, there's no way you should fizzle. He's got a Remand in the graveyard he can cast as well.
It looks like in our other match, just so that you know at home, confirming a hidden card error. So they're going to get that resolved, and we'll jump back over there when we get a moment.
Right now, we watch the dance.
Yeah, we're going to watch Paul do his thing. The Storm Bros, as they're affectionately being called, Caleb Scherer and Paul Muller.
By who? Besides me, who else is calling them the
I just did. It's my job to give people nicknames here in the booth.
Okay. Oh, look, you already have all the catchphrases.
All right, fine.
You got to give me something.
Fine.
All right.
Paul going to continue to do his thing here.
A very useful trick in the Storm deck that I've seen Paul implement multiple times is Remand targeting his own spell. When you have Baral Chief of Compliance in play, not only do you basically cycle the Remand, you also get to loot with his ability because it's technically countering the spell.
It's true.
And that is useful information to have as a Storm player when you have excess mana but not enough stuff to actually go off.
Here's a copy of Manamorphose for Paul Muller. That's going to be spell number 8. He'll draw a card.
Just for you at home, these life totals are not for this match. We are just doing a live look-in.
There's a grape shot. We're going to jump over to the other match as Paul Muller does win game number 1. Hidden card error. Here is the Duress. He's going to take, looks like probably, this is the only card that can be taken. So, yeah, he's going to take.
No, actually, I'm pretty sure you can hit lands.
You can hit any card, right?
Yeah. So the infraction of hidden card error, it doesn't go to the graveyard. I believe it gets shuffled back into the deck. If I'm not.
Well, no, this one has to go away, right? Because of this one has to go away because he has an additional card in his hand.
Oh, because it's the activation of the Bomat Courier.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Normally, in a penalty like that, the card that is, under scrutiny, I guess.
Sure.
Usually, I believe, gets shuffled back into the deck. But this is a fine resolution for the spell. Bomat Courier resolved poorly, but everything is kosher now.
Settle the Wreckage is going to resolve. 2 mountains will be grabbed from the 2 Fanatical Firebrands being exiled. Remember, Zach Canner, this game really hasn't done much of anything. He cycled 2 Hieroglyphic Eliminations and now has cast Settle the Wreckage. And unfortunately for Andrew.
Good enough.
Yeah, Zach knows Andrew's hand now is mostly dead weight. It's just a bunch of mountains.
Yeah, but nothing is truly dead weight when you have Hazoret in your deck.
That's true. Canner needs to draw a way to get Hazoret off the battlefield. This could be Teferi.
He needed a land really bad. You saw him, swipe it on the table, come on, baby.
Well, Teferi has come down to take care of Hazoret, so now it's on Andrew Hung to draw a really good card.
He has a ton of creatures with haste that can just take care of Teferi. I believe if he had one, he would have played it immediately and killed Teferi. So let's see what he drew. Skirk Prospector.
Not what the doctor ordered.
The one you want.
Skirk Prospector can be very explosive in this deck, but it is not great right now. Teferi is going to go up. Canner will draw a card.
Might as well go up. Can't go anywhere else.
That's true. Where are we going now? This is a Hieroglyphic Illumination. Draw 1 and 2.
Again, Hieroglyphic Illumination is an instant, but it's important to use your mana with Teferi since he will let you untap at the end of turn.
That's exactly what will happen here.
He only untapped 1.
I'm a little surprised by that. Did have the ability to untap 2. I'm surprised he wouldn't untap 2.
Don't got to play around days. Probably just has disallow. He's like, whatever. This one. Probably targeted the mountain from Andrew's side as a joke.
Here's an attack for 1 with old Skirky.
Sure, man. That happens.
Yep. Teferi down the 1. Pass the turn back.
That was a bad Bomat Courier. It would have been a very good Bomat Courier.
Yeah, just didn't hit the right cards.
Yep.
Teferi going to go up. This will be a copy of Search for Escanta.
Transform. I can't do the transformer noise or I would right now.
How is that? Is that good? Did I get it right?
Who do we need? Not LeVar Burton. Who's the guy from Police Academy that does all the
I don't. I know who you're talking about.
special
I don't know
effects?
who it is though. Something Winslow.
Yeah, but that's his name in the movie, right? Not his actual name.
someone.
knows?
Someone will tell us on Twitter.
Yeah.
Things are getting bad here for
For
Andrew
sure.
Hung.
I'm pretty sure Zach also has a cast out in hand to deal with the Hazoret next turn, but at the same time, probably also has a counterspell. The game's gone pretty long now. He's resolved Hieroglyphic Illumination.
Another copy of
Settle the wreckage on a Skirk Prospector.
Apparently, it is Michael Winslow, not to be confused with Eddie Winslow.
Yeah, from Family Matters.
There you go. Here's
Did I
Hazoret.
do that?
You did
no,
not.
You didn't.
Disallow will counter Hazoret.
Yep. All right. Well, Andrew has the ability here to peel, like, Gate to the Afterlife or something. Also, notably, Andrew actually chose to sacrifice the Skirk Prospector instead of getting a free land.
He wants it in the graveyard.
He wants it in the graveyard. He's trying to get up to 6 creatures so that he can turn on Gate to the Afterlife.
Let's see what comes here for Canner. Looks like another copy of Search for Escanta. Keep in mind, the first Search for Escanta just transformed into Escanta the Sunken Ruin. Teferi's going up. Draw a card.
Yep. The cool thing about Teferi's untap ability as well is that you can activate Escanta the Sunken Ruin and then end of turn untap it. So you actually get 2 activations out of it potentially. Zach's so far ahead here that he's not going to bother doing that. Just basically going to hold up a bunch of mana, try to find his win conditions, make sure he can cast all spells.
For Andrew Hung, does he have anything good to do this turn?
Well, it's got 2 lands and a rando. Was that a walking ballista? That's a big old ballista.
This is 10 mana?
Yep.
How does this sound?
I believe it's Essence Scattered coming in. Maybe not. Maybe he used that on the Hazoret. I saw an Essence Scatter earlier.
He will start by activating Escanta. Reveals Disallow.
Reveals Disallow before looking at the 4th card.
That's done.
That's the one we needed. Okay.
Starting to be a runaway here. This is the appeal to blue-white. You've got Escanta, which can control your draw steps in the early stages and then transform and help you find your relevant cards. And when Teferi's on the battlefield, it feels like for 2 or more turns, it just seems like it's insurmountable.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew had the 1 turn basically to draw the a haste creature to kill the Teferi when it was at 1. Either one of his Fanatical Firebrands or another Bomat Courier, a Walking Ballista. All these cards, Hazoret, all these cards would have been good enough. Unfortunately, his draw was a Skirk Prospector, which looked pretty bad.
Didn't look great, unfortunately. Did not look great.
Ooh, we getting rowdy up in here.
I like getting rowdy.
Yep.
Discard a couple cards. Chain Whirler among them. Yeah, he could have drawn Chain Whirler that turn, too, to kill Teferi.
He had so many hits.
Yeah, he did. There's Hazoret.
That's a good one.
Well, 2 Settle the Wreckages have been cast. Do you think he's on the 3rd one?
Honestly, I don't know.
That's what you got to ask yourself.
He could have Torrential Gearhulk. He could have a number of things.
How many settles we got in there?
Looks like he has 3 Settle the Wreckage, which is fairly common for this deck at this point. He's also on the 3 Fumigate, 3 Settle the Wreckage split. Looks like we're going digging with Escanta.
Disallow?
Yep. I assume this is still in response to the Hazoret, and he was just tanking. There is some value to letting the Hazoret resolve and then using the Escanta after an attack is declared if you need to try to hit Settle, because they won't attack with it basically if they know you have Settle.
Sure.
And if you reveal it before they declare attacks, like,
they're definitely not attacking.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a little bit of give and take, but
Teferi going up 5.
Teferi just feels so unfairy.
I see what you did there.
You know what?
Were you saving that for a while, or
No, it just came to me like a dream.
Settle the Wreckage number 3? How much longer Andrew going to do this? Because this is a lot.
Yeah.
This is a lot to overcome when blue-white's doing this.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it. I'll say it. This game's over.
All right.
Money in the bank.
When you have Teferi and Escanta going, if blue-white doesn't win from there, then there's something wrong with their deck.
Sometimes you just hit 4 lands in a row or whatever 4 times.
It can happen.
I don't know. It's not going to happen. He also has Teferi drawing cards. He only has so many lands in his deck. Is
There's
this in
an Essence
response
Scab.
to the Combat Celebrant?
That's afterward,
Okay,
because I don't think he cares about that card at all.
fair enough.
Take a look at Search. Search will put the top card into the bottom. Excuse me, top card into the graveyard. As Teferi will go up.
We know what you mean. It's okay.
What win conditions we got here? Gearhulks?
Torrential Gearhulk, basically it.
No approach?
Main deck? Nope. No approach to the second sun in this version.
Do you like approach at all?
As a Magic card, I hate it exists. As a win condition in Blue-Eye Control, it is certainly fine.
Okay. I know a lot of people have been gearing towards Gearhulks and like Lyras and less approaches.
So for the mirror matches, a card like Approach to the Second Sun is not very good. Let's just get that out there. Because, you would much rather your win conditions be things like Teferi or, Torrential Gearhulk, things that have alternate abilities besides winning the game.
Okay.
And in the mirrors, like, even Ibnu Revulet is probably more reliable and better than Approach of the Second Sun. Just uncounterable, games go super long, etc.
I guess the question is where does that card shine?
Approach?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's really good against decks like featuring the Scarab God, for example, that may not have a lot of ways to interact with it in game 1. Game 2, you can board out approach for more interactive win conditions, but basically decks that have a bunch of removal and it's hard for Torrential Gearhulk to actually close the game.
Here's Bomac Courier. That's not going to resolve either.
Cool. Can we find a Torrential Gearhulk, please?
That's what he's looking for. There's a disallow.
Yeah. All right, Andrew, can we just go to the next one, man?
Nah, I play it out.
I mean, he probably doesn't get to be on camera all that often.
Yeah.
Sucking up all the... No ultimate? Doesn't it 7 ultimate or is it 8? Oh, it's 8.
I think it's 8 ultimate, yeah.
Rats. Oh, well.
Take a look at their scoreboard there, by the way. The Storm Bros of each one their matches. They're up against Dylan Gellis playing Grixis Delver and Annalise Faustino playing Mono Green Tron. I think Paul Mueller's got a really good matchup. Disallow going to take care of the Walking Ballista.
So, it's no surprise the Storm Bros are up a game. I believe Storm is heavily favored against Mono Green Tron, but also they just play Storm every weekend.
Yeah.
When you play a deck that much, seeing a 1 next to your name in game 1, fairly common appearance.
We have ourselves a Teferi Ultimate.
Whee!
And now another copy of Teferi.
Okay. I'm actually pretty upset that these decks don't play like 1 commit to memory. That has been my favorite thing to do so far, is just Gearhulk a memory, or just play a memory out of the graveyard for 6 mana with a Teferi Ultimate. It's just awesome.
It looks like Zach has finally found a copy of Torrential Gearhulk. So I think winning was already elementary from here, as there's a God Pharaoh's Gift.
Yep. He has a Gearhulk so he can counter A. B, what he can do also is, still during your main phase, before you move to attacks, draw a card.
Sure, and exile it.
And then exile it with Teferi's ability.
Okay.
I was actually very surprised on Teferi's Ultimate to see it able to exile lands. Normally in Standard, they've stopped printing things that just blow up lands with impunity. But I'm happy that it is an Ultimate that is, generally very powerful.
Well, the play that you mentioned is exactly what Canner did, is he said that resolves. Before you go to attacks, I will Torrential Gearhulk my Hieroglyphic Illumination, trigger exile a mountain, trigger exile your God Pharaoh's Gift, and keep on rolling. As more permanents, are we going to get the old clean battlefield here? All right, God Pharaoh's Gift.
So
Gate to the Afterlife.
Gate to the Afterlife, getting God Pharaoh's Gift. It's fine. Doesn't matter.
I think they're both in his group. Yeah, there it is.
I was going to say, one really cool thing about Teferi in these blue-white control decks is that even if, let's say all of your Torrential Gearhulks get hit with a Dispossess, for example, a Teferi itself can be a win condition because you just target itself and you will never get decked.
Correct. I did read about this, and that's actually a match. Someone won a match that way, which I think is pretty creative.
Yeah, it's super cool. I love Teferi. It's such a cool card. And
I'm glad Teferi's back.
Yeah. I'm also glad that he, as a character, has returned. Let's just keep on keeping on. What is happening?
Taking 5 more.
Why?
Hey, there's a no concession policy. Reed Duke doesn't concede.
It's fine.
Respect it.
You know.
Modern going to game 3. Mono Green Tron. Storm getting ready for a third one. Maybe a little surprise there. 5 more. And that is going to do it. Zach Canner is going to win game number 1 here over Andrew Hung. Blue-White Control up a game here over Mono Red Gift. These players will go to the sideboards. We will be doing the same in about 2 minutes. But first, a few words from our sponsors. We're back. Cedric Phillips, Todd Anderson here in the booth watching Zach Canner and Andrew Hung get ready for game number 2. It's Blue-White Control versus Mono Red Gift. Hung lost game number 1, so he'll be on the plate. We start with him and his 4 braids, 3 Chandra Torture Defiance, 3 Rekindling Phoenix, 3 Glory Bringer, 2 Hour Devastation. Pretty straightforward sideboard.
Oh, for sure. And I think this is fine for a deck as linear as this Mono Red Gift deck. You just want cards in your sideboard for very specific matchups. In this instance, he's probably going to be taking out some of his more gimmicky cards in favor of more powerful sideboard cards. So you're going to see more Chandra Torture Defiance, Rekindling Phoenix, and Glory Bringer come in here.
Other side of things here for Zach Canner, 3 History of Benalia, 3 Lyra Dawnbringer, 2 Authority of the Councils, 2 Jace's Defeat, 2 Forsake the Worldly, an Hour of Revelation, a Commit to Memory, and a Negate.
Here, you know, there's a variety of ways that Zach Kenner can take his deck after sideboard. You need ways to beat their plan B. Lyra Dawnbringer very good at beating the mono red aggro side of this mono red gift deck. And then History of Benalia also does an okay job at providing some blockers. Authority of the Consoles, you know, a lot of these creatures have haste, so shutting those down and gaining a few points of life can be precious. But then you also want ways to interact with God Pharaoh's Gift. This is why the mono red gift deck is actually good. It hits you on 2 crazily different angles. Mm-hmm. And so you may be stretched thin and draw the wrong card at the wrong time. You may draw Forsake the Worldly when there's like 3 creatures coming at you.
Yeah, when nothing's going on.
Or you may draw Lyra Dawnbringer when they have an active God Pharaoh's Gift, you know.
Yeah.
So, I honestly, I don't know how he should sideboard. I am not familiar in this matchup specifically yet. Just give me a couple days.
Yeah, brand new deck here in Mono Red Gift. It has been doing well in Magic Online, as we did mention.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen some 5-0s in standard leagues, all that good stuff. It is a very innovative, different-looking deck, that's for sure. But, you know, Combat Celebrant, we have seen that deck do we've seen that card do very well in Grand Prix, most notably in Grand Prix Seattle.
Yep.
Last month. And, of course, there's Hazard the Fervent, Bomac Courier, and a card we didn't actually see in game number 1 in Siege Gang Commander.
Yeah, I want that one to enter the battlefield.
All right, here's Bomac Courier. This is the card you said it's a big one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Seal Away is a easy way to handle a Bomac Courier, but you know, you need a large amount of removal if you're going to be going that route. And Bomac Courier specifically rewards you for emptying your hand, which is what you want to do in this deck more often than not.
Skirk Prospector, simply pass the turn back. There is a Plains. This is a Seal Away. So problem solved. We are going to go back over to Andrew Hung here in just a moment. Seal Away a card folks better get used to seeing in Standard. It's going to be here for a while. There's an
Don't
attack for 1.
get flashy. Play your spell when you can play your spell.
Yeah.
By letting your opponent untap with their Bomac Courier, you actually give them the option to attack into Seal Away or not. And if you don't have a Syncopate or an Essence Scatter or something like that, it's just always better to main phase.
Here's Walking Ballista for 1.
Combat Celebrant chunking in for 4 damage.
It's a lot.
Actually, just a fine card in this matchup to cast if it doesn't die. Not hitting your 3rd land and having to sacrifice your Skirk Prospector, however, not very good.
Now this is where things actually get tough here, because this is the Settle the Wreckage mana flashpoint, and if Zach doesn't have Settle the Wreckage, he could just cast a card drawing spell. Now he does have Settle the Wreckage, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's still 1-for-1, but at the price of having to sacrifice that Skirk Prospector. You know, the problem with Settle the Wreckage and trying to play around it is that oftentimes you just give your opponent a window to just play a different spell. You know,
draw 2 cards.
Yeah, draw
mostly.
2 cards, or even just cast out. You know,
Yep.
like if they don't have Settle and they just have cast out, you actually just give them a bunch of free life points. So it's a very tough card to play around, and one that I think will be tough to play around for the next year and change.
Gate to the Afterlife.
That's a fine one. Now if he gets hit with a Settle the Wreckage, he can actually use Ballista to ping the Combat Celebrant, which will put both into the graveyard, while also letting him loot twice and gain 2 life.
There's Forsake the Worldly, a card you felt was probably going to come in.
Yep. And he doesn't have the requisite number of creatures in the graveyard or mana to activate it.
However, going to knock Canner down to 8, so this mono red deck is kind of doing its thing, as Canner will cycle a Forsake the Unworldly. We're going to go back over to Andrew now. All right. He says, shrug his shoulders, I'll attack. Aha. There's Settle the Wreckage.
Yeah, now that it's a little less appealing to use Walking Ballista on your own creature now because he doesn't have Gate to the Afterlife. The extra lands might come in handy for hard casting a Gate to the Afterlife, or sorry, a Godfarrow's Gift in a turn or 2. And he was a little light on mana, so this could help.
That's kind of interesting, right, where he might actually want these lands because of something like Siege Gang Commander. You mentioned Godfarrow's Gift, Walking Ballista.
Yes.
All that stuff.
There is a downside to Settle the Wreckage, and it's if your opponent can use that mana. Chandra Torture Defiance still is good when your control opponent is tapped out as it was before it got worse.
Gonna plus Skirk Prospector, Domia, take 2. Zach Canner is down to 6. This is kind of a bit of a weakness, I think, for Blue Eye Control, is they're not great against Planeswalkers. Now,
No, they are not.
Here is Lyra Dawnbringer, which can certainly change things very quickly here.
Yeah, but Andrew still has, so he has two different things he can do here. If he has a Godfarrow's Gift in hand, he can just tick up Chandra for mana and hardcast it. Also, if he doesn't have a use for that extra mana, he can also just tick up Chandra, cast the spell off the top of his deck or deal damage. And being at 6 means Lyra won't kill it this turn.
Well, here's Siege Gang Commander. 3 goblins on the way with the commander.
If he has a land to play, he can minus Chandra and throw a goblin at Lyra to take it down.
Which would be pretty big.
I don't think he has a land, though.
Goblin tokens on
Hold
the
on.
way.
We got a pile of Cedric Phillips tokens over here that we were gifted earlier. Let's run those over to the feature match area real fast.
I hope all of my tokens don't die right away.
Same.
Combat Celebrant. Pass the turn back. Okay.
Ooh, that's if he doesn't have a Gearhulk or a 6 land for Gearhulk Settle or another Settle, that Combat Celebrant plus Siege Gang Commander might be lights out.
Well, this is interesting now because Zach Canner does have Torrential Gearhulk in his hand. Got to go look at it. But you mentioned land number 6, and I think he might be without it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have the 6th land. I believe he has a cast out, so at the very least, he can take care of the combat celebrant so that he is not necessarily dead. But there's still, effectively 5 damage from the Siege Gang and the tokens, and then 6 more, which conveniently, 11 life.
Indeed.
Plus the Chandra doesn't even die.
So there's the cast out.
Okay. Don't hate it.
Siege Gang gone. I don't think that Lyra can attack.
No, it cannot. And that's really bad news for Zach because he needs to hold it back. That Chandra is going to put him down to 4 life potentially. And Andrew also just has the option to cast the card off the top.
Mm-hmm. See what the draw is here. So we head back over to Andrew. You can kind of see there are some very powerful red cards this deck can play.
Oh, for sure. And I do love the fact that with CGN Commander, Walking Ballista, etc., you actually have a way to use all the extra lands you get from Settle the Wreckage.
Yep. Plus it. All right, just a mountain.
Zip.
Down to 4 goes Canner.
Unfortunately, the Combat Celebrant not really doing a whole lot against a Lyra on D. In the exchange, I believe he would gain 1,000,000 life.
Approximately. Well, the nice thing that Combat Celebrant is doing is it's actually, I guess I would say it's kind of forcing Zach's hand to not attack.
Sure. I mean, and the Chandra is at 7, which is threatening ultimate as well.
Yep.
Zach has to take that into consideration. If he doesn't have another cast out, which I believe his deck only has 3 copies of, those in Teferi are his only ways to really interact with Chandra.
Oh, Zach's going to call a judge. He's got a question. Judge, how do I get myself out of this situation?
He's going to ask if he can disallow Chandra ultimate. Guaranteed.
That's your read on the situation?
Oh, 100%. Oh. And if Andrew is a heads-up player, as long as there are 2 blue and a colorless open, I would keep ticking on up. It feels so bad when that happens. It's only happened to me once because I will not let it happen to me twice.
Well, as they take care of the judge question, let's bounce on over to Modern. It was so effective last time. Oh, Carnage! We have some Carnage on the battlefield.
Rawr. That's your boy.
He's a pal of mine.
Yeah, you know him go way back, right?
Yeah, we've exiled some things in our day. We have.
All right, do you target land here or do you hit hand? He had 5, 6 cards in hand?
So many cards in hand, just try to bottleneck the lands.
I guess.
I mean, it's you're not in great shape.
The deck is all mana. Oh, Annalise did win game 2, though.
Correct.
Maybe on the back of a damping sphere.
That we'll never know.
Well, it wouldn't be in her deck because it shuts off all her lands.
Wouldn't it? Hey, you never know.
Wait, I have it. Let me check. Oh no, I have the Storm Bros deck. There's no way. Relic of Progenitor is actually pretty good from the Mono Green Tron side. Just keeping Passive Flames in check. They have to kind of natural combo you.
It was not Damping Sphere.
Yeah, big shock.
Yeah. May have been Thought Not Seer or Horping Whale. Or a couple copies of Relic, as you mentioned. 2 of those in the sideboard.
No main? Nope, Spatial Contortion.
No main.
That's a nice one. I mean, sometimes, you're a Tron deck, you just win. There's no bones about it.
Sometimes you just have turn 3 Tron plus thing, and that's it.
Yeah.
That is a very enjoyable experience. Metamorphose here from Paul. Not sure how much deeper he's going to go this turn.
I mean, either you got it or you don't.
Yeah.
He's consulting with the master, Caleb Scherer. What do I do here, master?
There are worse people to team up with.
Yeah, when you're playing Storm.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
One of probably me, because I would refuse to help you.
Yep, here comes Caleb.
If you're going to play Storm on my team, you're on your own.
Yeah.
Just don't ask me anything.
It's just one giant complex math problem. I'm off it. Let me know when we can go back to the other map.
All right. Paul Muller here, trying to figure out the best course of action. He's casted Desperate Ritual. Well, we'll never know.
Yeah, we will never know because we're going back to this one now. This is the more interesting of the two.
Oh, for sure.
And I am very curious what Zach asked, but we will not ask because we don't want to give anything away. If you are just jumping into this one like we are, there are 3 goblins from a CGN commander, a combat celebrant, and a Chandra on 7 counters, along with 6 mountains on the battlefield there for Andrew Hung. He's a 20, sitting pretty. For Zach Canner up a game, 5 lands on the battlefield, 3 plains, 2 islands, along with a Lyra Dawnbringer, and a cast out that took care of that Siege Gang commander, along with a seal away that took care of an early Bomac courier.
Ticked up. Played around it.
Playing around disallow.
Nice one.
Zach Canner going to fall down to 2. Andrew will pass the turn back.
It's always a feel bad when, you play around the thing and then you get immediately punished for it. But in this scenario, you have Zach on the clock. He's at 2 life. He has to do something about the Chandra right now. He attacks it for 5. Zach ended up drawing the 6th land for Torrential Gearhulk, so now he has access to settle the wreckage out of the graveyard, as well as a number of other things.
It's a timely draw, though.
For sure. I mean, he missed it for 2 turns. So.
Yep.
Let's see what Combat Celebrant can do.
See what Andrew Hung can do this turn. He's in a little bit of trouble now. I mean, I still like his positioning, but...
Actually, well, no. Settle the Wreckage ruins that plan. I was going to say, if it was just Torrential Gearhulk into like a draw 2, the Combat Celebrant actually makes it lethal, which is kind of cool.
Get in for...
So you get the 3... So you plus with Chandra, right? You deal them to 5. You attack with all Exert. It untaps the 3 goblins. Torrential Gearhulk just blocks the Celebrant.
And then you get it for 2 more.
And then you get it for 2 more after he blocks the goblin. But that's not the case. Settle the Wreckage has already been cast this game.
Twice. So Andrew Hung's got a lot to think about now.
Yeah. Tick up's fine. I mean, if he has Godfrow's Gift, he might consider,
Interesting.
Excuse me.
Just Combat Celebrant. All right, here's Torrential Gearhulk.
All right, so I think it's relatively safe. Instead of using Settle, I think I might actually just cast a Hieroglyphic Illumination, which I believe was in the graveyard. I could be mistaken.
And just block?
And just block. That leaves you a literal vulnerable to like an Abrade, but you have to assume that those types of cards are not in your opponent's deck anymore.
I think you'd be surprised if Abrade was killing
Torrential
Gearhulk after sideboard. Certainly take me by surprise.
It's kind of interesting to see how quickly a lot of the SCG Tour grinders picked up blue-white control.
It's a good deck.
No, very good deck.
So you saw Combat Celebrant attack and exert. So now plus deal 2 to you. Can he finish on this turn? He's moving pretty fast.
Yep.
Walking Ballista for 3. That was a beautifully played turn.
Nice.
That was a beautifully played turn.
Dude,
by
that
Andrew Hung.
That was actually awesome.
Yes, it was.
He actually also exerted with the Combat Celebrant to get another combat phase.
That's correct.
Without attacking with the goblins initially. Super smart.
Andrew Hung going to win game number 2 here over Zach Canner. Mono red gift.
Well played.
Blue-white control getting ready for game number 3 off of the back of a very excellent play there by Andrew Hung. We'll come back 2 minutes, see if he can win game number 3. Game number 3 about to be underway here between Andrew Hung and Zach Canner. Mono Red Gift against Blue White Control. Keep in mind, as you take a look at our scoreboard here, Caleb Scherer already won his match with Storm against Dylan Gellis playing Grixis Delver. For Paul Muller playing Storm against Annalise Faustino, they're in game number 3. Now, of course, if Paul wins, well, we're all set. But if Annalise wins, then this match gets very, very interesting.
Just want to point out that Grixis Delver has lost more on camera today than won.
Andrew heading down to 6 cards. I can't argue that, actually. You are right. We watched it win once? It's 1 and 2 so far?
It beat Delver Slayer 3.0.
Yeah, V3.
Yeah. Lost to Delver Slayer 4.0.
Yeah. Upgrade complete. Upgrade complete.
I don't know what that is.
StarCraft, dog.
Okay.
Here comes Bobo. In for 1.
Bomat, best card in the format. That one just came to me.
There's a seal away. Bobo down. Mountain, Skirky, pass the turn back.
Man, if that was just, outside of all the gimmicks and such, which I'm sure are good in other matchups, if that was just a carry Zev, the game would be over.
You and your love for mono red. Here is Gates.
I didn't even play. This is a negate. Okay.
No.
I didn't even play standard. I just watched my buddy Phil Smith demolish everybody.
I think mono red's still good. We haven't seen it. This is the closest we've been to mono red aggro with this mono red gift deck. We haven't seen it, and we're in round 7.
It's got Skirk Prospector.
No.
It's a goblin deck.
Let's see what this is. Well, if 1's good, 2's better.
Nothing better than a second Skirk Prospector.
Oh, yeah. Double up.
I will say the picture is cool. I like the picture on Skirk Prospector.
Hieroglyphic
better than the original.
Illumination here from Zach Canner. He'll draw 2. See if he's got land 5. He does. Lyra. Game.
Nope, just classic 3 for 1.
Yep. Fumigate all your stuff away.
Notably, only gains 1 life because the Skirk Prospectors have the ability to sacrifice themselves. Now
Here's
tapped
Chandra.
out. Chandra gonna need to do a lot of heavy lifting this game. Otherwise, Andrew Hung not in great shape.
All right, cast out's taking care of that.
Hope we got another one.
Yeah, cast out is going to be the clean answer to Planeswalkers, I suppose. For the blue-white strategy, here's a Walking Ballista for 2. Canner will draw. Oh boy.
Is that good against Mono Red?
So this is a pure case of power level. Just this blue-white deck is flexing all over this gift deck now.
Just saying, got to fight it with fire.
Yeah, he's getting flexed on by Lyra D and Fumigate and Cast Out and just these absurdly powerful cards. Sometimes it's just that easy, right? Sometimes your deck is just more powerful than theirs.
Oh, for sure. I mean, every time that Andrew tries to go for the Gate to Afterlife plan, it falls short.
Here
it
is
just
settle.
Just keeps happening over and over again.
Yeah.
So
and Paul even won Modern to make things even worse.
We'll
so
call it a clean sweep.
I think we will, as Zach Canner's probably going to close this game out soon enough.